a bag heavy with gold, or a clay tablet carved with words of wisdom? If thou hadst thy choice, which wouldst thou choose? If you had the opportunity to choose wisdom or a bag of gold, which would you choose? Today we are going to go over one of the greatest finance books of all time, The Richest Man in Babylon. Today may be the very most important video that I ever make with regard to helping people understand and improve their finances. My name is Shiloh Lundahl, and you are watching the Improved channel on finances. According to the front cover of the book, The Richest Man in Babylon, it reads, "The Success Secrets of the Ancients, the most inspiring book on wealth ever written." And to be honest, I agree with that. I've read several books on the topic of finances, and there are many good books out there. But The Richest Man in Babylon is the foundation book by which many other books are written. This book is nearly 100 years old, and the principles taught in it are timeless and tested and true. When deciding to make a video on this book, I thought to myself, I'm going to reread this book all the way through, and I'm going to pick out the top 10 principles that I think are the best principles from this book. And I had a really hard time doing it. So unfortunately, you're not just going to get 10 principles, you're going to get 17 principles. And also, this video is probably going to be too long for just one video, so I'm going to break it up into two different videos. Part 1 and Part 2. I really encourage you to watch both videos because the principles in this book that you learn can help anybody change their financial life forever. Let's get started. Principle 1. I found the road to wealth when I decided that a part of all I earned was mine to keep, and so will you. This is the very first basic principle of this book. Basically, what it's saying is, when I earn money, a portion of it is mine to keep. And you're going to think, well, it's all mine to keep because it's my money. No. Your money is oftentimes spent before you get it. You see, you're planning on living somewhere, so you're going to be paying rent or you're going to be paying a mortgage. And so you're going to need to pay a lot of living expenses. And a lot of what you make goes out the door basically as soon as you get it. A lot of people live a paycheck to paycheck lifestyle, which basically means every time they get paid, that same amount goes out the door, or even more goes out the door because they borrow on credit cards in order to pay their normal everyday bills. But this principle is foundational. It means that every time I earn money, a portion of that money stays with me. And I keep that kind of sacred because that is going to be what changes my entire life. I remember when I first started working at a bank almost 18 or 19 years ago. And when I was working there, I would get paid every other week. And I was trying hard to live this principle. So I would take 10% of everything I made and I would put it into this little account. And the account was actually called the ARCAD fund. And where did I get the name ARCAD? Well, from the book, The Richest Man in Babylon. So I put it into this little account, and the account kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And so I was really excited because every time I got paid, I put it into this account and I could see that getting bigger, even though it was really, really small at the time. I would probably get paid, I don't know, maybe a few $100s every other week because I was only working about 3 or 4 hours a day. And so I wasn't getting paid a whole lot at the time. However, every time I got paid, I siphoned a little bit to that account. And it was amazing to see how motivating it was to see that account get bigger and bigger and bigger. So the first principle is, a part of all you earn is yours to keep. It should not be less than 1/10, no matter how little you earn. Principle 2, who can measure in bags of gold the value of wisdom? Without wisdom, gold is quickly lost by those who have it. But with wisdom, gold can be secured by those who have it not. What does that mean? You may want to pause this video several times as I show you these principles because it takes a little bit of time to get used to the language because the book was written kind of like in biblical talk. And so you pause it and you ponder and you think, okay, what does this principle mean? So what does this principle mean? Basically, it means you can understand how much the value of gold is, but can you really understand how much the value of wisdom is? Because wisdom can value greater than gold, because wisdom can create much more gold than gold can. A lot of people might earn money and then they just kind of invest it by giving it to somebody else to try to invest for them. And many of them may actually lose money rather than earn money. So the more you learn, the more wisdom you have in investing and understanding how money works, the greater likelihood of you being able to take that money and create much more money with it. Conversely, individuals that may have money that don't understand the principles of financial management oftentimes lose the money that they have. Just think about lottery winners. There's a lot of lottery winners that after earning millions and millions of dollars, after a few short years, have nothing to show for it. And then there are many people that start out with little to no money. And because they put forth effort and time in learning and acquiring wisdom, over time, they start to accumulate more and more money. So going back to that first question that I asked you, to give you my answer, I would much rather have wisdom than gold. Because with wisdom, I can earn much more gold than if I were to have gold and not have wisdom. Principle 3. If you have not acquired more than a bare existence in the years since we were youths, it is because you either have failed to learn the laws that govern the building of wealth, or else you do not observe them. This principle is very offensive to a lot of people that don't have any money. Basically, what it is saying is, look, there's two reasons why you're not doing well financially. One, you have failed to learn the laws that govern wealth. Or two, you don't observe them. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, I'm not rich because I've had all of these setbacks in life. I started a business and my business partner was crooked, and so there went all my money. Or I went through a divorce and so I had to declare bankruptcy and there went all of my money. There's a lot of reasons and excuses why people do not have money today. But it really comes down to these two things. One, you do not understand the laws that govern the building of wealth. Or two, you don't observe them. So a lot of people who have all of these reasons and excuses as to why they're not wealthy, it's one of those two things. They either don't understand how wealth is built, or two, they don't observe those principles. Because if you were to observe those principles, even if you go through catastrophic difficulties, what happens is you continue to live those principles. And as you continue to live those principles, then wealth starts to accumulate again. I get that there's a lot of setbacks in life, and I'm not trying to diminish anybody's life experiences, but it comes down to you are the one that is ultimately responsible for your own financial life. It isn't anyone else. It isn't a boss. It isn't your parents. It isn't anyone but you. If you have not acquired more than a bare existence, it's because either you do not understand the laws that govern wealth, or two, you do not observe them. If you want to change your life, then understand how money works, understand the laws of finances, and then observe those laws. Gold is reserved for those who know its laws and abide by them. Principle 4. A man's wealth is not in the purse that he carries, or wallet that he carries, or bank account that he has. A fat purse quickly empties if there be no golden stream to refill it. What is he talking about right here? What does this mean? The amount of money that you have is finite, okay? Once that money's spent, it's gone. So wealth really isn't in the amount of money that you have, but it's in the golden stream that fills that. Or in other words, it's in your income streams, whether it be active income or whether it be passive income. That really is what determines your wealth more than the money that you have. I know of people who have either inherited some money or maybe they won some money in one way or another. And basically that money that came into them terrifies them. And the reason being is because they don't know what to do with that amount of money. They don't know how to keep it. they get worried and they try to go and here, you protect my money, or what do I do? I'm just going to go and keep this in the bank and just keep it there because if I spend it, I don't know if I'm able to get it back. In other words, just having money doesn't equal having wealth, because having wealth is in those income streams that come to you regularly. That is what having wealth really is. Unto him who keepeth and spendeth not a certain part of all his earnings shall gold come more easily. Likewise, him whose purse is empty does gold avoid. As you're able to develop the discipline of saving a portion of everything you keep regularly, gold will seem to keep coming to you more easily. However, when you have no money, it seems like gold just avoids you. It seems like wealth and money just avoid you. So the principle is, I'm going to discipline myself to have some gold or some wealth or some money. And as I do that, I start to see these other avenues of money coming to me. However, if I don't develop that discipline, it's not very hard to understand that I'm going to be poor here pretty soon. Principle 5. Don't trust the knowledge of a brickmaker about jewels. He who takes advice about his savings from one who is inexperienced in such matters shall pay with his savings for proving the falsity of their opinions. What does that mean? Why are we talking about brickmakers and jewels? So there's a wonderful story in this book about a guy who gives some of his money to a brickmaker who's going to go overseas to buy some jewels from the Phoenicians. However, when he returns, he has all of these gems, but it turns out that those gems were just bits of glass that he was sold. Really, really sad. Is it true that there are people who will take advantage of people that are brand new in investing? Yes, that's true. And it's sad. So the key is, how do I not get swindled? How do I not get scammed? Well, you have to do your homework. You have to learn. And you don't want to entrust your money to somebody who may have this great idea, but that has little experience. Because when you do, basically what you're going to find out is you just funded the learning of this other person. You funded them in going and wasting away your money because they didn't have experience. And so the experience that they got was at your expense. So I encourage you, don't trust someone who's inexperienced in an area to go and invest when they don't understand how that works with that specific investment. Principle 6. You do eat the children of your savings. Then how do you expect them to work for you? And how can they have children that will also work for you? First, get thee an army of golden slaves, and then many a rich banquet may you enjoy without regret. So what does this principle mean? Well, some people will earn something in an investment and it feels like, wow, I can't believe it. I just put $1,000 in this one stock and it went up by like 50%. So I just gained $500. This is awesome. I'm going to take that $500 and I'm going to go on a trip. Well, I guess you can. However, that's not the principle of building wealth. You see, when you spend the earnings that your investments make, what happens is those earnings can't create more earnings for you. I learned this principle early on. After my first real estate flip, I earned about $13,000. I was really excited about it, and I took that $13,000 and I went and I bought a car. It was a used car and it was a very economic car, and I needed to replace the car that I had anyway. But still, what I should have done was I should have kept that $13,000 and continued to invest with it. But because I didn't, I had to start over from zero right after I did my first investment. So I encourage you to think about it this way. I'm going to earn some money, I'm going to save that money, and that money is going to be dedicated just for investing. And then any money that accumulates will stay in the investing category or in my investments until a certain point in time by which I will start taking money out of that investment account. But make that a very specific either milestone or event or time period so that you know that you can continue to put in there and continue to put in there until it creates this massive wealth, and then you can start drawing from it without regret. Principle 7. Opportunity is a haughty goddess who wastes no time with those who are unprepared. To attract good luck to oneself, it is necessary to take advantage of opportunities. Men of action are favored by the goddess of good luck. So what does this mean? A lot of people say, oh, you know what, Bill Gates, he was just lucky. He was at the right place at the right time. Steve Jobs, same story. Well, yes and no. They were at the right place where computers were just starting to get going and where things were just getting bigger and bigger. So they were at a time that was very, very prime for creating these huge computer companies. However, it is important to consider all of the work that they put forth in getting themselves ready for that moment of opportunity. I've heard it said that when preparation meets opportunity, magic happens. And I think that's true. I think it's true that when you are prepared and then all of a sudden the opportunity comes, that can create a huge momentous step forward. So I encourage you to do everything you can to prepare yourself. And then when opportunity comes, you need to take that opportunity quickly because opportunity doesn't wait. If you don't take that opportunity, somebody else who hustles is going to come and take that opportunity away from you. So prepare yourself, prepare, and then strike. Prepare, and then take that opportunity. Because what luck really is it was a moment of opportunity and someone was prepared to take it. So I encourage you to be that someone who's prepared. Principle 8. If I set for myself a task, be it ever so trifling, I shall see it through. How else shall I have confidence in myself to do important things? So this is basically describing self-discipline. If I set a task for myself, I need to move forward and complete that task. If I don't complete that task, it's going to have a negative effect on my self-confidence. Then, when more important things come about, and if my confidence is low, I may not believe that I can do that thing. So having the discipline to complete the tasks you set for yourself can help you gain the confidence to do hard things, to do those things that are going to take time and effort. And you can do those things, and you have to believe that. And you can believe that by starting small. So I would encourage you to set small tasks at the beginning and then make sure that you accomplish those tasks. Because as you accomplish those tasks, even if they are small, it will build your confidence in yourself that you will be able to follow through with the things that you put your mind to do, that you commit to doing. Principle 9, that what each of us calls our necessary expenses will always grow to equal our incomes unless we protest to the contrary. All men are burdened with more desires than they can gratify. So what does this principle mean? Well, this is describing the principle of income creep. Every time we get some sort of raise, we think, oh, this is great. I can finally get fill in the blank. I can finally get those couches. I can finally get that new car. We can finally move to a larger home. But the problem is this. When your income goes up, you also have to consider that you're going to be paying more in taxes, and there's other expenses that maybe you've been putting off that you finally have enough money to pay for. So just because your income goes up, it doesn't necessarily mean that I can now go and afford those things that I've been looking to buy. So if you want to build wealth, you have to develop the discipline to slow down, especially when your income goes up. Have a plan. Don't just go and start buying the more expensive things. Have a plan as to, once I get to this level, I will be able to buy that thing. Once I get to this level, I'll be able to get this other thing that I want. So don't go crazy and buy those things that you can finally now barely afford because you just got a raise. You have to slow it down and think, okay, as soon as I get that money, I want to go and take that and improve my investing. I want to increase my investing. I want to take that money and create more money with it. If you want to be wealthy, this is what wealthy people do. When they get an income raise, they don't go off and just spend that really quickly and buy liabilities and get themselves just entrenched more in consumer debt. No, they take their increase in earnings and they create more money with it. So I encourage you to just be patient, slow down until the time is right, and then you can enjoy a lot of those financial benefits of being wealthy. So thanks for watching the first part of the Richest Man in Babylon review. I encourage you to watch part 2. And while you're clicking over there to watch the second video that you'll see in the description below, you might as well go ahead and subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to give you a lot of great information on how to improve your finances in this channel. And I have other channels as well, but this channel is going to be specific to how to improve your personal finances. So stay tuned for part 2.